Because guess what? It's not the trans people that made you lose your job right now if you're without a job. It's not the trans people that somehow started a tariff war with Mexico or China or Canada.
Hey everybody, this is Dean FM, Dean Fraser Milford, here for your creature comfort, and today I wanted to do another reaction video. There's going to be another video on the Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Don't get it twisted. Yep. We're going to be reacting to a more recent development. Just like what she be doing. Everything she does, every video I see her in, she's killing it. And, you know, she's getting me involved. She's making me want to be more involved in politics because I see a strong sister out here. You can say whatever, but most likely not coming from the right side, criticizing me, admiring black women. Black women have raised me. Yeah. So I'm going to see what's going on. I'm not sure. It says that Jasmine Crockett drops nightmare news on Trump and Republicans. So yeah, I'm going to watch this and let's get right into it because I'm not sure exactly the background to this. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And all my links are down below, including my reaction video playlist. And I am over 100 videos now. So yeah.
Joined now by Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, hey. It's good to have you in person.
Yeah, thanks. So we are right now in a moment where obviously there's a lot of upheaval across the country over everything that's happening in this government, whether it's Medicaid cuts, food stamp cuts, attacks on veterans, on and on. There's been recent guidance from the NRCC to stop doing town halls for Republican members. Not to fix any of the problems that the people who attend those town halls are actually bringing forward, but just not to hold the town halls whatsoever. Yeah. So can I have your reaction to that cowardly move by GOP?
Yeah, and I think you laid it out. Cowardly. It's laughable to me because, you know, we supposedly live in a democratic republic, and the idea that they don't want to go and talk to the people that literally put them into position. This is what we're constantly seeing from the Republicans. It's kind of like Trump. Like, Trump is not deciding that he's going to be beholden to all these people that gave all the little money that they probably didn't have to his campaign, that went out and decided to vote for him because they really believed in him. They believed the lies that he told when he said on day one he was going to end war, when he said on day one that he was going to reduce the price of food, that when he said on day one that he was going to give us a big beautiful America, right? Like, they believe that. And so, you know, as much as I spar on social media and that kind of stuff with, you know, radical MAGA, there's just not that much of this country that is just MAGA, right? Like, I refuse to believe that the vast majority of this country is MAGA.
Yeah, I don't think
and
so.
And there are those that got caught up that really were struggling and saying, okay, I'm going to take a chance on something else because maybe my life will get better, because that is what was laid out. But what we're seeing is that Trump only cares about those select few people that he allowed to be on the inside when he got inaugurated. And right now, we know that the Republicans don't care about the people that put them into position in the House. Instead, all they care about is making sure that they are in his good graces. They could care less about their constituents. And so I say, where they won't go, we as Democrats, we need to show up and show that we really are public servants, and show that while Fox News may go off and try to tell you that I'm some like double-headed, you know, devil or whatever, that I really do care. And I can back that up with the bills that I filed. And I can tell you the truth about the policies that we're pushing for and how that is going to improve your lives and not just the lives of my constituents, and really start to heal this country and let them see that there's so much more that brings us together than separates us, right? And so get out of the cultural stuff. Right? Because guess what? It's not the trans people that made you lose your job right now if you're without a job. It's not the trans people that somehow started a tariff war with Mexico or China or Canada. Going to pay for your kiddo to go to school by using loans. Those loans may not be available. It's not the trans people that they went out blaming for everything that was bad. It's also not the immigrants that they went out blaming everything on. And it's definitely not the black folk. Black people, especially black women, are still putting their bodies on the front lines in the fight for an America that will continue to kick us no matter what we do.
Right. The major beneficiary, when you have all of these people getting screwed from this government, the 70 some odd million Americans who use Medicaid, the 40 some odd million Americans who are on food stamps, It's not those people who are, to blame for any of this stuff. The money is going. We already know who's getting bloated defense contracts. We know that SpaceX is getting defense contracts. We know that.
I think in terms of supporters, and when I put a lot of blame on the supporters themselves, a lot of it is brainwashing and things like that. I think that there definitely needs to be a sense of internal owning that these people need to do, that if you cast a vote for Trump, that they contributed. They contributed to his presidency, unless there was a rigged dealio going on. Did contribute to him in his rise to power. I think the brainwashing and just overall way that it was presented, responsibility all around here. But I'm not going to tell somebody who had cast a vote for Trump to go bury themselves at this point, because it's like... That's a little deep, but
is getting contracts. We know that Tesla is getting contracts. And so it's right in front of us, black and white, the numbers, when we see who's losing money out of all of this and who's gaining money out of all of this. And to your exact point, no, it is not the trans people who are to blame. It's not the black people who are to blame. It's not immigrants who are to blame. We can see in black and white who is benefiting from this presidency. And it's none of those people. It's the people at the top, the people who helped Donald Trump get to where he is right now. To that point, we should go where Republicans aren't. What should we do with regard to this town hall issue? Because clearly folks are agitating across the country. People want to talk to elected officials to find out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah,
and if those Republicans aren't going to show up, what would you recommend Democrats do?
I absolutely believe that we have to show up. And I think that this allows us to build a rapport with those constituents that belong to them, and it allows us to say
these are in Republican districts.
And Republican districts. Yeah. I mean, it was funny because I was talking about this yesterday, and it was in like an actual meeting in my office, and someone wanted to ask. They were like, "Do you think that you can go into a Republican district?" I absolutely do. And I was explaining to him that actually when I go to rural America, they actually crave for me to come back. And I talked about the relationship that I have with the Texas Farm Bureau and how anytime the Texas Farm Bureau was on the Hill, they were always coming to see me. And I knew that the vast majority of the people that were coming, that they weren't necessarily Democrats. But I just laid it out, and I don't think that there's anything partisan about food, or there shouldn't be anything partisan about food, right? Like, I may not grow it, but I definitely eat it, you know what I mean? And so, like, I would just talk to them about the facts, and I want our farmers to do well, because I don't want us to be relying upon a food supply that is coming from elsewhere. I want us to have, that is a matter of national security, right? So I want us to have farmers that are able to raise food right here in our country that is under our government's eye. For sure. It doesn't mean that I want to get rid of trade and things like that, because we do that as well. But definitely I want to make sure our farmers are good. And so having those real conversations and going into those areas. I remember we did a listening session in Waco, Texas, which isn't too far from Dallas. I show up. I'm the only black member that showed up to the listening session. And we did about 3 different events on that day. And every room that I was in, I was the only black woman until the last room, and then there was one other urban farmer,
she felt that.
Black woman that was there, but it was okay, because at the end of the day, like, I didn't feel like we needed to focus on my complexion or the fact that I was the only Democrat that was sitting on the panel. We just need to talk facts. And so many people came up to me, and it was almost like, oh my God, you're actually real. Yeah. Like, you're not the devil that I thought you were.
I was going to ask, we do live in such a bifurcated media ecosystem. Have you found that folks who you talk to in areas where there's not usually Democrats, that they perceive Democrats as the caricature that Republicans or right-wing media makes them out to be?
For sure.
And how does that differ from what people tell you when they actually do have the opportunity to speak with you?
Yeah, so it is interesting, because people that don't have touch us with Democrats, for sure, when they first kind of encounter us, or at least encounter me, then they think of me differently than when they actually are given an opportunity to talk to me. Again, like, I bring up Texas Farm Bureau for a reason, just because I know a lot of their supporters are Republicans, but it doesn't matter when they come on the Hill. Like, I am always, and honestly, all the guards go down. I remember the very first reception that they did during their first Hill Day, and I went, and there was a woman who was so rude to me, and I was like, okay, and I just kind of brushed it off or whatever, and she didn't know me. It was before a series of viral moments and that kind of stuff, but I was this black woman Democrat, so that's all she knew. And she was incredibly rude. And after that, though, I never had a similar encounter with anyone, because I think that I garnered a reputation. I mean, they've got pictures of me driving a tractor trailer in my district. I think that the perception of me
Country girl.
was completely different than what they ended up getting. And I think that's why Democrats should show up. I think that we should have been showing up a long time ago. During the Harris campaign, I was telling them, send me to rural America. And they were like, what? I was like, send me to rural America. Well, they
That's why I want to get involved with my local politics, because I don't know what this town is missing. Clearly, this country has a lot that it has been hiding. There's been a lot of people that have been supportive of Trump, and I think a lot of them were conveniently quiet before the election and all that. But yeah, I definitely want to get involved more so in my local politics, because I want to be able to make a positive difference in the community that I grew up in, that I love, that's been very conducive. It has made a very safe and supportive environment for me to be myself. I want to make sure that they don't forget. They don't forget about the queen. They don't forget about this culture. Don't be afraid like I was, that if you don't have all, you know, if you don't have that knowledge and all the background of the world, you can still talk about what you need to talk about. And I think that you have a right to your opinion. You have a right to say what you got to say, and don't let anybody sway you otherwise. I want to write a little script for my local town hall and be able to say something.
And I mean, everybody came out, and like people were really excited that like, oh my gosh, you know, Jasmine Crockett's coming to rural Georgia, right? But it allowed me to be on the local news there, so that those that maybe don't get a person like me on the local news could kind of see and hear from me and know that I lived in East Texas as well. I lived in rural America. I practiced law in rural America. So like, I know the struggles that exist out there from actually living in rural America, as well as being someone who served on the ag committee. And so once they see that I'm able to talk the talk and that I understand the challenges, whether it's their hospital shutting down and me believing that your life expectancy should not be cut short just because of your zip code, because that's the thing that we run into in our big urban kind of centers. And so honestly, rural America and inner urban city, lower income areas actually share a lot in common when it comes down to SNAP benefits, right? Like me fighting for SNAP, that's not just for my district. It's more so for rural America than in my district, because they use more SNAP benefits.
Sure.
So the fight that I'm waging, it's not just if somehow you go somewhere and you've got a D on the front of your name that you're going to get the benefits. Yeah. It benefits the vast majority. But if we're not talking to people, then we can't complain that they're not listening to us, because we're not having a conversation. Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to watch a little bit of that. I'm going to watch probably more of it in another video, because I wanted to make this, and because Jasmine Crockett, I really look up to her. I really have found all her work and all her speaking and all her talks and things of this nature. And starting with the congressional drama, I liked how she had defended trans women in that situation, and I think that she inspires me. I definitely want to talk more about politics. And especially after that joint session, that was incredibly crazy. I watched that thing start to finish. I've never been so involved in politics in my life, but this is a circus. A train wreck come true. Couldn't ask for more of a wreck of a country right now. I definitely want to be more involved and speak more for my community and speak more for the people who don't have a lot of a voice, and I'm not going to let anything stop me anymore. So I encourage everybody to get out there, and I hope you have a nice day. I'll talk to you later.